Okay, everyone, so now I'm going to style my font, okay? So the first thing I want to do is I want to go to Google Font, and we're going to add a Google Font into our project. And let me go and grab this, the saying right here, or the quote right here. And I'm going to put it into the type something so that I can kind of see exactly how it's going to look. All right, and I like a lot of really bold font. That's a long enough quotation that I don't want to use font that's too curly, like Lobster, because it would be difficult. Like this is kind of difficult for people to read because there's not a lot of separation between the letters. And something like a font like the Modec font would be better if it were just a short like heading. But since this is a whole sentence, I want to use something that doesn't have has pretty thick lines between the letters. Like this right here, using a dancing script for something that is as long as a sentence makes it rather difficult to read. And here's Lobster. Okay, that's because there's again there's not a lot of separation between the letters. When you have separation between the letters, it makes it more difficult, makes it easier for people to read on your page. So if I can also even look at like what it would look like if I had, you know, a larger pixel size. So I want a pretty bold font. You can decide what you want to do, but I would suggest not something like something that doesn't have a lot of curliness to it, like curviness to it. All right. So I kind of like this one. Let me go ahead and try this one. This one, it seems interesting to me. All right, so I'm going to choose the bold style. So I'm going to select this style. And there's two pieces of code that I have to do. So this one right here, I'm going to copy it. And this needs to go into the head of the HTML. So I'm going to click at line 7. I'm going to hit return, and then I'm going to paste it right there. Okay, so make sure it is in between the opening head tag and the closing head tag. Okay, and don't mess with anything else in the head. Okay, the other thing you need is the CSS code. So I'm going to copy this. I'm going to go to my style, and I am going to add this into the div tag. What did I call the div tag? And I called it main, right? So I want to go here. I'm going to say hashtag main. Okay, and I'm going to paste that font family in there. And then I'm going to change the color. Let's say that I want it to be something white, like this. So well, let's try this. And then let's change the font size so that it's nice and big. Let's look at what this looks like. Okay. All right. So it doesn't, right now it's hard to see because it has a, sometimes it's going over the picture here and sometimes it's going over the sky, and so it's difficult to see. So what I can do is add a background color for the main. And I realized the other day that I actually can just say background. So if I say dark gray like that, let's see what this looks like. Okay, so it's easier for me to see the dark gray. I mean, maybe I don't love it as much, and suddenly my font became really big. It's easier for me to see it on the, it's easier for me to see, but it doesn't look the best. What I might want to do is I can actually change it to, if I wanted to do a red, green, blue value, I can change the opacity. So that is how much that is seen through. So let's say I choose a dark gray right here, and my red, green, blue value is, it ends up being like right there. Okay, so it might be easier with a color picker because it might be able to give me, I have no copy and paste. I wish I had a copy and paste so it's easier. Okay, so 75, 66, 66. So let's try that. If I go here, instead of naming it, I could say RGB 75, 66, 66, and I can put a value in at the very end, which would deal with how see-through it is. Okay, so if I wanted to, and what that does is create a consistent background, so I can still see the photo behind it, but I can also see the text in front of it. The opacity ranges between 0 for not seen at all, and 1, which is totally solid. So you can choose, like you can go up to, you'll see if I go up to 0.8, it becomes darker, like the gray shows up darker. So you can choose what you want for that. I would also suggest maybe not having a font size this big. This actually seems pretty big. So just work with it so that the font size isn't as big, like that. Okay. And then what I'm going to show you in the next video is I'm going to show you how to resize it so that it is a little square inside of your poster, so it kind of shows up in the middle of your poster and you can see most of the picture around it. And I am going to go back to this 0.5 just so I can see more of the picture. Okay.